The waiting room. The waiting room smelled like disinfectant and burnt coffee, a combination that seemed designed to make time feel heavier. The chairs were bolted to the floor in rows that discouraged comfort. A muted television flickered with captions no one read. It was just past midnight when the long night truly began. Ruth sat closest to the doors, her coat still on, hands folded over a purse she hadn't opened in hours. Every few minutes, she glanced up, hoping for a nurse to appear with news that would rearrange her future. Across from her, a man in paint-splattered boots scrolled through his phone without seeing it. His knee bounced, the motion sharp and unrelenting. In the corner, a young woman rocked gently back and forth, whispering something under her breath. She looked too young to be here alone. They had arrived separately, carrying private emergencies. But the night had trapped them together. At 12:37 a.m., the vending machine ate someone's dollar. "That's about right," the man in boots muttered. Ruth smiled faintly. "It never gives it back." He looked up, surprised she'd spoken. "Figures." He introduced himself as Carlos. His wife had been in surgery since early evening appendectomy that had turned complicated. They said routine, he said, voice tight. "I don't trust that word anymore." Ruth nodded. "My husband fell," she said. "They're checking his head." The young woman in the corner cleared her throat. "I'm Nina," she said. "My mom had a stroke." The words landed differently, heavier. Ruth reached into her purse and offered Nina a tissue she hadn't realized she was holding. Hours passed in measured updates and long silences. The television cycled through the same late-night infomercial. Carlos bought chips no one ate. Nina's phone died. Ruth lent her a charger. These small acts stitched them together more than conversation did. At 2:14 a.m., a fourth person arrived, a teenager with a skateboard tucked under his arm, eyes red but defiant. "Sorry," he said to no one in particular, lowering the board. "Is this where you wait?" Carlos shrugged. "Seems to be." The boy sat. After a minute, he said, "My brother got jumped." No one asked questions. They didn't need details to understand fear. By 3, the room felt suspended outside time. The hospital hummed with unseen motion, but the waiting room remained still, like a held breath. Ruth found herself talking without meaning to. "George hates hospitals," she said. "He says they smell like endings. Carlos not. My wife hates them too. She says they make you feel small." "They do," Nina said. "Like your life is on hold." The boy looked up. "I hate that they won't tell you anything," he said. "Like you're not important enough." "That's not it," Ruth said gently. "They just don't know yet." The boy swallowed. At 3:47 a.m., a nurse appeared. Carlos stood so fast his chair screeched. Ruth's heart leaped. Traitorous and hopeful. "Mrs. Ramirez is out of surgery," the nurse said. "She's stable." Carlos sagged against the wall, a laugh breaking out of him like a sob. He thanked the nurse twice, then turned to the room. "Thank you," he said, as if they'd done something tangible. They read. The relief was contagious, cautious, but real. For a moment, the waiting room exhaled. An hour later, it was Nina's turn. The doctor spoke quietly, kindly. Her mother would live, but recovery would be long. There were words like rehabilitation and uncertain outcomes. Nina nodded bravely until the doctor left. Then she crumpled. Ruth moved without thinking, sitting beside her, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. Carlos handed her water. The boy stared at the floor, jaw clenched. "I can't do this alone," Nina whispered. "You don't have to tonight," Ruth said. By dawn, the sky outside the narrow windows lightened to a pale gray. The night loosened its grip reluctantly. The teenager's brother was still unconscious but expected to wake. Ruth's husband was being kept for observation. No answers yet, but no worst case either. They exchanged names again, like a promise not to forget. "I don't know why this helped," Carlos said, glancing around the room. "But it did," Ruth nodded. "Because we were seen." The boy stood, shouldering his skateboard. "Good luck," he said awkwardly. "All of you." As they drifted away one by one, the waiting room returned to its emptiness. New strangers would fill the chairs. New nights would stretch long. But for a few hours, 4 lives had intersected in a place designed for uncertainty, and in that shared waiting, something human had happened. Not answers. Connection. And sometimes, that was enough to get you through until morning.